By Intel, Vodafone, The Road to Odense, Betway, MSI, Logitech G, Pay Safeguard, Mountain Dew League, and ESEA. Vodafone presents the pre-match.
It has become that time here at the Intel Esports Arena, the one true esports arena in this entire planet. And of course, with Chad Burchill, we're going to be diving right into this next matchup. It's going to be FaZe versus G2 Esports, one where in which it is a roller coaster, not to be confused with Tivoli Gardens. But in fact, these two teams have struggled for a little bit now, Chad.
Can we summon them?
Not yet.
Not yet? You want to keep them there?
It's good for them. Builds character.
Okay, well, I think that if we look at this matchup right now, G2 and FaZe have both been shellacked this evening in the opening matches. They haven't been able to get anything done, and right here we need to see which individual is going to step up. Because you said Existence had a good game for the first series for G2, whereas FaZe was relatively flat for everybody, but I think it's time.
I think it's time to maybe talk about this G2 lineup just a little bit more because, you know, Kenny S is a player. We talked about the AWPs earlier. This is a game-changing guy. When he's on form, when he's on point, when he's hitting his shots and he's letting it swing, you know what's going to happen, Chad.
Yeah, look, I think the thing that happens with them really is the fact that Kenny S can be relatively aggressive on the CT side of Inferno with the AWP. I think
Chad,
it's time.
All rise.
And
there they are.
We brought them up.
We brought them in early, not because, well, we really value what it is that they have to say, but more we're going to be jumping into this match rather shortly. It would appear as though these teams are ready to play, but not before we set the stage and the match here as we go into Inferno. Chad, tell me about Inferno between G2 and FaZe.
I think that FaZe can have a relatively weak CT side considering how many stars that they have. So if that's something that G2 can exploit and get banana control, there have been times where FaZe have been exploited late round. You remember when your favorite team, Cloud9, won the major. It was on Inferno.
Wait, say that again? Sorry.
Your favorite team, Cloud9, they won the major.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, there you go.
So this could be one of those situations where this map here, it's online is where I wanted to go with this, on the line. Basically, online is where you are going to see more retakes on bomb sites. There actually is going to be more attempts. Now, on land, when you're going to grab the bomb site, we see a lot of saves. I think this evening we're going to see a relatively scrappy game where teams are going to try and win every round they can, as opposed to the standard, you know, playing the fundamentally sound decisions. This is going to be a brawl of a matchup, in my opinion.
Now, we talked a lot about FaZe coming into this matchup, and we're looking at them now, and I really think that as we have kind of beat up on their storylines and what they can and can't do right and how come they're struggling so much, let's talk about G2 and where they find themselves now. We could talk a little bit about Malik as a coach. Where do you really want to kick this one off, Chad?
I just think that G2, the whole idea behind bringing this project was to have more tactical CS, which Kenny has stated that he likes as being an AWP player, as being less free. But I've seen them go for force buys, which doesn't allow the big green to get into Kenny's hands, and that can be a problem. So far, especially if we go back to the major, we saw some really interesting decisions come out of G2. They had cool executes, but there was one round which sticks out in my mind where they actually went for an A fake, and then they took the bomb mid to B. No one died. The bomb was the first thing to drop in CT spawn, and it was just such a weird round. So we do see a weird mid-round decision-making, but there also is some, I guess, tactical prowess coming in, which we were lacking from the French scene before. Yeah,
and I mean, we could just kind of briefly overview what it is G2 has accomplished recently, and the list is rather short, Chad.
Nothing.
Dare I pick it up and say ESL, well, I'll pick that up later. ESL 1 New York, 5th through 6th, the London Major, 9th through 11th, and for what it's worth, Valencia, even before, back in the summer, we're looking at 5th, 6th for them there.
Yeah, they're not even really making the playoffs, and that's, I guess, the criticism that's there at the moment. MBK's version of G2, which had Apex in it, and they were actually trying to get this working with him as the in-game leader, they were actually still making it to playoffs. Right now, this G2 roster, they're taking a little bit more time, and like they do a very good job at managing expectations of the fans. So right now, G2 are kind of just saying, look, this is just a work in progress. I don't know how long we can give teams time. And I think that's unfair because that's been the narrative now for the better part of this year. But realistically, teams just got to get their stuff together.
Got to get it together. And, you know, I'm actually going to read a quote here from Existence about how he and Shox lead the team. So bear with me while I look away. I build the rounds while he finds the gaps and how to exploit them. So I think that makes us complement each other quite well. And if you want to go a little bit further than that, and of course this is off of the quote and perhaps a culmination of many of their other quotes throughout interviews is these guys like playing together. These guys find this harmonious rhythm where they don't have any rifts that we normally hear about within the French scene. And what keeps the French scene held back?
I think one of the biggest issues with the French scene was the fact that not everybody was on the same page and motivated. Like, there were some players who were not happy to put in the effort, other players who want to put in 110%. And realistic with the team, you look to Australis, everybody is on the same page. I think that is what you really have to do. And you're someone who used to deal with individuals to get them on the same page. So what would you say to get the Frenchies together?
I'm going to start with this. There was one thing that always blew my mind within Cloud9, and it had to come down to the simplest of things, Chad, and that would be, where are we going to eat? When it comes down to that little of a problem, and no one can seemingly make their minds up, it shows me that the cohesive unit, the leadership within the team might be a glaring issue.
Well, when we walk around town, I'm usually the one leading the charge with where we're going to eat.
That's because I like to lead things that actually matter, Chad.
You just use that as your point as to why a team...
I'm talking about within us.
Oh. Okay, cool.
A little bit different when we talk about the Cloud9 side of things.
I thought we were ready to go. What's happening, Trace?
Well, if I had to guess, I think that they're trying to make the server conditions palpable and make it all what it's meant to be. We know that these servers are 128 tick, right?
We need Five Eyes to give us a report right now on what's going on.
Yep. Okay. How about we just start with Harry and Hugo and what they think is going on? Speculate, boys. You're pretty good at it.
Probably just not going to do that one, Trace. Instead, I'm going to go ahead and, take a look at...
He talks more about this bloody match.
My God. Just talk about a Toblerone or something.
Dude, I could talk all day about a Toblerone. I've been learning my history.
Here's the thing. Let's do this, because we don't know how long we have until the game's ready. Yeah. If you basically just talk all about it right now, you're going to have nothing to say during your cast, Harry.
That's very
true. Let me pick a topic that is close to all of our hearts, and it is still Counter-Strike related. I haven't really decided where it is yet. My brain's still working and catching up. What if we talk about this bloody calendar situation? You know, I really like to talk about where the tournaments are scheduled and all that kind of stuff.
We're back on this again. Okay.
Where do you want me to go with it? I thought that we could give the viewer maybe something else other than us saying it's Inferno and banana control is really important.
Yeah, I mean, those are the key points that at least the teleprompters out there tell us to make. But
I'm going off script, man.
You're going off the rails here, Chad. You know, actually, you do bring a pretty good point, though, when it comes down to the calendars, right? The calendars are booked up all year.
Yeah,
and for some teams more in advance than others. And perhaps when roster changes start coming into play, they're already signed up for events. With that being said, I mean, having your schedule booked out in advance and then your roster change happens somewhere in the middle of that doesn't necessarily set any sort of time for restructuring and recreating this team environment. Hugo?
Let's go with these guys.
We are at a point, though, where we're actually starting to see more teams drop out from events, right? Think about literally Epicenter in a couple of weeks. Astralis just announced they're not attending that event. And I think, you know, while obviously there's negatives of the calendar being overbooked and events clashing, etc., one positive to try and take away from it, to look on the bright side, is if we have these large events where top teams are going to go, okay, we don't have time, we don't want to attend this, let's drop out. That gives more opportunities to smaller teams that maybe only play online leagues to get their chance to play in the top events. I mean, you know, it's hopefully going to bring up more CS, or bring up the level of CS from lower tier to the point that, you know, some of the top teams are at the moment.
That's a great point. Harry, do you have a solution for this problem? I want to hear some opinion, because I know my opinion. I'm interested in your opinion.
Yes, the whole world is watching.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, well, I mean, I always like the idea of having I think we need to kind of first start with Valve, like kind of better planning, like when
so
the player break is.
You want Valve
like
to fix the
major.
problem?
No, I don't think Valve can fix the problem, right? But I mean, as for the actual solution, Chad, I don't know. This isn't something I've ever put too much thought to.
I got the solution for you. It's Inferno. That's what's going to be happening here. The map is on fire, and moreover, so is Harry's hair. And we're going to be jumping right into this matchup with Hugo and him. Bring it there, guys. Don't be square.
Be circle. Or something.
Well-rounded.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Either way, heading into this game, Harry, finally we're going to get it going on. Of course, both these teams, as mentioned, have had a bit of a problem today, but on the plus side, someone's got to win this game, Harry. So someone will be happy at the end of this day. You'd hope.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too sure on that one, Hugo. How happy can you be? That's
now we're getting introspective.
Yeah, you know, really diving down a rabbit hole here, Hugo. But, I mean, I think for G2 and FaZe right now, both these teams coming off the back of a very, very weak performance just moments ago. G2 losing to Mouse Sports in a 2-0 fashion. FaZe doing the same versus Astralis. You know, admittedly, both Mouse Sports and Astralis looking fantastic right now. Astralis best team in the world. Mouse Sports coming off the back of the win at New York and looking good there. But these guys, you know, they're at a low point. And we need to see them rise to the occasion here, Hugo, as we head on into Inferno.
Yeah, it's just certainly worrying with G2, right? This is supposed to be a star-studded roster full of the top French players, and although they have that, right now, this team has not been reaching the level that we kind of expect from them. So, yeah, maybe this season of Pro League is a chance for them to bounce back. Maybe the online season is where they can find some more success instead of via LAN. I don't really know, Harry. I don't really know what the problem is, but I want G2 to succeed. Of course, we've got that new Water Boys mix that people have been seeing play some qualifiers recently, and that's been quite an interesting one. So maybe if the G2 experiment doesn't go too well, we could see some changes. I don't know. We'll have to keep our eyes open. Let's hope G2 can find some success, and maybe it will be here on Inferno. The first map of this two-mapper, and we're straight into it. Fast B play here from the FaZe side. Existence, he's going to have to run on back. We've got the CT smoke thrown on the fly. We've got the Coffins one going over as well, and Body's at the back of the site. So good with this USP, already starting off. Bomb drop, 2 kills. Body still going. There's a third, and Body is making this round his, bodying FaZe Clan in the pistol round with 4.
Yeah, I mean, what a start from him. A massive turnaround. So he was kind of the guy, one of the only people really, when we saw the play versus Mass Sports earlier, that was over on the B stream. He was one of the people actually putting up numbers, kind of trying his hardest, his very hardest to see the team through. And he's going to continue that here on Inferno. Now, the man that I kind of have the big question mark by right now is going to be Kenny S, because, you know, very, very, prolific AWPer. Everyone knows there was the time where, like, this guy is, was one of the best, some even say maybe the best AWPer in the world at one point in time. And, he's been having a really tough time today. I think he's managed like less than 20 kills across both the maps earlier on. Really not having a good time of things. So can he recover? In the meantime, though, this pistol round is, not pistol round, this Antico is kind of already looking like it's coming to a close. G2, they've got 5 players still up. FaZe, only with Carrigan and Guardian. They do have Deagles. We've seen the Deagles of FaZe do work before, and now they've retrieved themselves one MP5. It's a wrap round from Existence, so that could be the nail in the coffin.
Oh, that Molly's going to slow things down or speed things up. It will do the latter. Carrigan dives out in front of it, and the bomb goes flying. Guardian doesn't want to save here. He needs that loss bonus, so we'll see him give it a bit of a go. What can he get done with the Deagle and the MP5 that's been picked up? Probably not too much with G2 having this deep ramp control as well. Guardian can't even back off, and they have no reason to push. They have the bomb under their control. They still got T-spawn locked down. A site is theirs for the taking. And Guardian's already given away his position in the apartments. He's trying to call the dinner bell, make them chase him down, and now they know where he is. Existence going to start to move. Guardian will only get the tag, and he receives a lot of damage as well. So MP5, sorry, is going to be the name of the game. But yeah, not too successful so far, and it's only a matter of time, Harry.
Yeah, there it is. That's going to be the second round here for G2 over on their CT side. But all is not lost for FaZe here. Going to have to go ahead and take take this round on the chin, hand over a third to G2, you would imagine, unless something goes very, very wrong. We can already start to take a look at the next round. Likelihood is you don't really see it all bought out for FaZe, don't have the money for it. Instead, they might just look to run 5 rifles. Definitely more common, I'd say, over on the T side. But that said, Guardian is kind of one of the guys who we associate that can awful little better on the T side off Inferno. There's Kerry. With only that USP, he's saving extra cash so he can grab the AWP early on here for G2. He's going to find a couple of kills as well. So he's got the money, he's got the cash, he's got everything he possibly needs. That's going to get bought out here as well on the back of him going down. So he now buys that up for G2. And actually, FaZe, they've gone for the AWP. I wasn't sure if they would. That's an interesting one. Guardian certainly can wield it here. And he's going to look to try and take this fight versus Kenny early on. Perhaps looking to try and capitalize on the fact that we know Kenny's not having, the best of days today after a few lackluster performances versus Mouse Sports.
That was earlier, Harry. Maybe this is the time for him to step back up. We do have a triple B set up for G2 to kick off the round. Quad, sorry. It's only Shox here over on the A site. We saw Astralis do this yesterday. It could be a bit of a problem if FaZe were to fast play that A bomb site, but for now, it will just be a slow mid-crawl. Shox has done a good job of delaying this push with his utility. Actually, it was Big yesterday who did this, not Astralis. Astralis were the ones who countered it, and Existence, he's actually found a kill down on B. This is going to relieve some of the pressure. Shock spotted and tagged. Rain going to finish him off from the boiler, and now we have that A play going away. Kenny, yes, he's known for hitting these shots up on Porch, but he's not going to be able to get more than one. Carrigan has to get that bomb, and Smits has found 2 kills in the meantime, meaning that FaZe are stuck in a 1-on-3.
Yeah, bomb plant for Carrigan here. Players circling all around from G2. It's going to be flying for shot on apartments, but Carrigan, no time to reposition, no time to take up an afterplant, just has to try and win these fights from inside of the bomb site. There's still flashbang and a smoke up for G2. Kits are plenty as well. They know where Carrigan is now, and they're going to start to circle on into him. Like moths to a flame, they find him, and that will be G2 moving on to a 4th round early on here. The bomb goes down for FaZe, which means they can go for a buy here, but it's going to look very, very limited in terms of the utility. Carrigan getting destroyed so much that it breaks the software, but it's all good. We're back to normal here. G2, 4-0 up right now. Here's the partial investment from FaZe. Don't want to risk, no, not even risk. It's more, you know, you want to go for the full buy. I guess you don't want to risk, you know, starting to hand over a massive advantage to G2, letting them build up a bank, putting yourself on the back foot. They want to have all the bells and whistles as well. Utility kind of reigns king here on Inferno.
Oh, that's a meaty nade there. Smith is going to have to run back as he spots the chase of FaZe down this hallway. They'll stop in their tracks as they hit the smoke. Smith is almost going to get mollied there by a teammate. Went through the smoke and got extinguished, so gets out of there alive, falls back to the pit, plays it safe, will not give FaZe the opportunity to get this man advantage for now. They'll have to look elsewhere. With only flashbangs to play with on this T side, that doesn't really give them a lot of options. Kenny, yes, in the meantime, he's actually found that first pick, so hopefully starting things off stronger on this map, as you mentioned. We'll fall back to the site, but Olof is here in the apartments. 2 players on the site for G2 to try and deal with him if these Ts do burst out. His Guardian in middle, nice dink, but not enough. Shox is going to win the duel there. Olaf finally finding Smiths on the site, and there's something for G2. There's a little bit of pressure removed, but a rotate will come in the form of Existence to help out these 2 players on the A bomb site, and FaZe is still committing to A. They're not choosing to back off and go for this stack back towards B. 3 players walking up short. Flashbang is there, and the timing gets the better of Carrigan pulling out a nade, but Nico's still there to trade. Shox now dropping the bomb, but the trade is there as well for FaZe. They are making this round costly.
Existence nearby. He's going to have to wait for bodies. So the bomb goes down, and Olaf does have armor now. The AWP in hand as well. Both these players pushing it. Ooh, gets caught trying to get back from short, but he does just get round the corner in time. Tries to re-peek it, but it doesn't pan out. They just hold, you know, batten down the hatches, hold the angle. That'd been one of those ones, you know, we have this happening all the time in Matchmaker. You can relate, is you tag someone down a bit, you anticipate he's going to go play it really passive, he kills you, and then you're left asking, why would you even re-peek that? That's sort of the play that Olaf goes for there. It doesn't pan out. I think he had the right idea, tries to take him by surprise, but regardless, 5-0 lead. Here's the buy from FaZe. They're not on pistols anymore. They've got everything they can possibly need. The AWP out for Guardian. Full utility on everyone for the T side here. So this is the round where we have to see things switch up.
What have they got out their sleeve? Banana has not been a contended point this map for FaZe since the pistol round. They've been fine with giving it away for G2, and again a triple setup for the start of the round. Very common to see now on Inferno, because it's easy just to throw that early smoke out and then use the other 2 players on B to play these delay smokes. They've got a deep one going down as well, all the way towards the bottom. This allows this French to gain control towards the bottom of Banana. Shox winning his duel up in apartments, but Carrigan will trade him back, and that shot from the AWP missing for Kenny. This is now left a gap up on this A bomb site, and we're going to have a continued pushing down Banana with Existence again going for that rotate. FaZe in the meantime looking to execute on this A bomb site for now, but again, we already know what Inferno is like, Harry. It's so easy to rotate back towards B if you change your mind. And already, we do have a player walking back down mid. That's Olaf, keeping his eye on the flank.
Nico. Just on the other side of Arch here. Might go walking the way of the man that we just saw, Existence, but no, he starts to peel away. And this is a real standoff. Existence looking dubious, not too committed to this angle, does go back, and it's just in the nick of time, but Nico, there's the opening. Now they start to push on in. It's Kenny from inside of the pit, trying to combine with Smith, trying to hold this bomb site down, but they lose everyone inside of a blink of an eye. It is just body left alive, and a 1v3. Sadly, not going to be any bodies hitting the floor anytime soon. FaZe looking like they should be picking up their first round here.
That was such a nice peek up from Nico and Olaf on long. They looked round the arch corner where Existence was playing, and Nico ducked below Olaf, who was standing up in the back. So even if Existence kills one of those players, there's going to be 2 to get you the guaranteed kill there for FaZe. Nice teamwork there. And finally, a round on the board with actually players surviving, at least for now, unless Body can find these exits, which certainly is a possibility looking at his position. He is already in the apartments. Olaf low running down middle, but no one in second mid means that he needs to peek all the way out through Boiler, and I don't think he's going to go for that risk.
Yeah, and coining the term used yesterday, Body is having a great time right now. He's the inverse James Bond, 700. James John, as we came to call it. That was good. And as we emerge from library here, let's see how FaZe been hitting the books, doing their homework. In the first round early on over here on their T side. Want to try and chain together a few more because now they've successfully started to grind down the G2 economy. Early on, there 3 players from G2 over here towards B, looking like they might try and set a man up in this position. Bonnie's been doing a great job of holding Banana on his lonesome. There's a gap in their smoke, and I'm not sure G2 are aware of this. They're going to go walking away, but a lot of Bodies there, and I'm going to miss the free fire. That is enough at least to send Body back for the time being. The rest of FaZe grouped up over here towards Boiler in the top of mid. This push looking like it's about to come in towards this A bomb site.
Oh, as the smoke fades, Kenny. He may go back in for a little bit more, getting hungry here, and the man walking out of Boiler, another one already out. Kenny's going to hit the shot. Nice start. Karrigan is not ready to trade because he's too busy watching short for the repeak, out of which there will be none. G2 holding back now with a 5-on-4, and FaZe starting to run dry on time and utility. They've got a couple of smokes and mollies left. Will be the B site. Very easy to just take with 2 smokes and a Molotov. Although we've already talked about how easy it is to rotate, and FaZe are showing exactly that. Yeah, seeming unsure, but nope, they'll keep 1 player in Banana, the rest of them going back towards middle. The fact that they're keeping 1 player here with 20 seconds left is a bit weird, because they're not setting up for an arch wrap, so Nico's, you know, he could easily just survive after time if FaZe don't get this bomb down, if G2 can find the appropriate kills. There's 2 players here. They've gone for the triple B setup, which couldn't be worse, but they might be able to get it done considering FaZe only have 10 seconds. Shox and Kenny both hitting a shot, and with that, the round is done. FaZe are not going to be able to get out of the apartments, and there we go. 2 saving players in a buy round is not what FaZe want there. That's G2 picking up their 6th, and yeah, crunching down the numbers for FaZe.
Yeah, they're going to be afforded another buy at least, and saving those weapons definitely going to help them out on the quest to affording it. The one thing you got to wonder with this FaZe roster is, you know, obviously switching Nico out of the IGL role. Some of the, you got to imagine what sort of atmosphere that creates within the team, right? Like, I do wonder if that's affecting in any way, but you know, only time will tell, I guess. And the future holds for this FaZe roster. For now, they've got to try and make the best of a bad situation. And there's Guardian, good at that, able to go and find the man advice. That's Body down as he has his face removed. What a man to find as well. He's been top of the board for G2 today.
Even in their previous games as well, up against Mousesports. So, Body feeling it, but he's feeling nothing now, just his cold corpse in Banana as FaZe are held back by the smoke. G2 still with a bit of utility left down on this B bomb site to try and hold back this encroaching FaZe team, but they're far from committed, Harry, and in fact, G2 are going to go for a bit of a gamble. They rotate a 3rd man back towards A. That's going to be Existence back on the arch position, and it couldn't be more wrong, because FaZe have 4 players in Banana right now. Just Rain lurking up on that A bomb site. G2, or at least Shox, is going to be met with a bunch of angry men coming around this corner in just a second once FaZe set up the utility. There's the smoke going over. That'll be for the CT spawn. They have plenty more if they need it for the coffins, but this rotate's already here from Existence. It needs to be a little bit faster because FaZe are about ready to burst in through. That smoke's going to fade soon, so FaZe just throwing in an essential double fake. They're setting up more nades for the actual execute, and here it goes. Molotov's landing from Existence to try and cut off this push, but the smoke will hit the CT spawn. These are very late attempts from FaZe. They need to hurry up. They're barely round the corner yet. 10 seconds on the clock. Shox is going to go straight down, but Existence, he could just deny this plant and deny the chance of FaZe winning the round. There's a second kill. It's actually Guardian killing his teammate, and Existence has the pistol out, but the bomb plants through. Nico dead to the P2K, and it's only 2 left up for FaZe.
Rain was on this wrap round the whole time, and he's meant to be the fail-safe, the one who holds this whole round together, and Rain might do exactly that. He's managed to. He leaves it on Guardian, but Guardian, 1 HP in a dream, and around the corner, Kenny, flying through the air. Gonna go to get rid of him. He only needed to do 1 damage, but he's going to go to do a lot more than that. 7th round there for G2. And a big pat on the back, the way of existence, really overstaying his welcome, finding all the kills in the world as well. Not quite denying the bomb plant, but it's very much him who saves this round.
Without a doubt. I mean, even that counter Nico with the pistol was ridiculous. There's no way he needs to get that. That should have been retakeable regardless for G2, but big work from Kenny on the clutch. And 7-1, Harry. This is not looking good for FaZe. They have been absent all day today, getting absolutely torn apart on the CT side of both previous maps. So they're able to put up 7 rounds on T side Mirage, but then none on the second half. And on Dust 2, it was just an obliteration from start to finish. The fact that they're failing here on the T side of Inferno is not a good sign. We already know their CT side has been pretty abysmal today.
Yeah, I mean, it most certainly has. I think they've managed, like, what, 4 rounds in it, I want to say, all day, something like that. I mean, maybe 5 rounds on their CT side all day. I think that's maybe even being generous to them. So, yeah. FaZe, they really had to try and set the precedent early here, get off to a good start on their T side. Instead, they're looking even more deflated than in that game versus Astralis, where we just saw them get completely annihilated.
And this isn't a game where FaZe should be getting annihilated, right? You play against Astralis, okay, whatever, fresh off the major win, yeah, you're getting wrecked, okay, that's fine, most teams are. G2, this is a team that's been shaky, you know, up and down recently, right? Look, we all saw Carlos's tweet about this team. So great work from G2 to put up this kind of scoreline, but I can't help but think a lot of this is FaZe getting in their own heads here. They've already been wrecked earlier tonight, and they can't afford to go 0-4 today, but this is a good start from the Frenchman. Shocks in the pit. He's going to get wrecked by Olofmeister in this round. Smith's also sitting on the backside as well, but he gets one, can't double it. Now FaZe back with the man advantage. Finally an execute that looks like it's going their way, and so well, in fact, that G2 won't even give it consideration.
Yeah, this is definitely the right call. You know, play things safe. Give FaZe a second round. It's not the end of the world. You still have, you know, plenty of money. You're still keeping 3 players up, and there's a chance for you to buy in the next round. And we did see G2 beat FaZe on this map at LAN recently over at ESL 1 New York. Let's not forget that really wasn't the showing from FaZe that I think many people wanted to see. Exiting that in the group stages, that was always a pretty terrifying time of things there for FaZe, and I think it's a worrying time, and a time maybe for change within this FaZe roster. I'm curious to see what the decisions are in the future. It's just, you know, Carrion maybe kind of saying how he's not feeling too happy right now. That was something that came out, and then Nico taking over the IGL role. I feel like with Carrion, he's very much a leader who was good at like hyping up the team as well as leading them. And the second, you know, you hand that over to someone else, it's almost like saying, you know, I mean, do they believe in Carrigan anymore, right? I feel like the second you call that into question with him, that's kind of the whole basis from which he likes to take charge from just completely destroyed.
The problem is, all these Danish teams have just finished making their roster changes, so, you know, there's so many options for Carrigan. Let's not, like, assuming he's leading, right? This is just under the assumption. We'll get to this discussion anyway later, Harry. It's a fast B play for FaZe in this one. They've actually managed to find a couple of openers at only the cost of Carrigan. So into the B site they go. G2 should be able to give this one a try because they are already rotated in time. Smiths is here in the spawn, and Kenny S is up in the ruins looking to ruin FaZe's day. That's a nice nade. Look at a fair bit of damage as well. FaZe now aware that these CT players are very close by as the bomb goes down. Oh.
Well, the stars align for G2, and that's going to be the bomb denied as well. They're going to retrieve it. It's on the back of Nico now. Everyone already here for G2. That bomb finally goes down. It's Nico and Rain in the clutch. These two, though, synonymous with success, especially Rain. He's been looking fantastic today. Does pick up Smith. We're into a 2-on-2, and Kenny pushing on round over towards Coffins. Is this man a dead man walking? He's looking to try fill these coffins with a couple of bodies right now. Nico flashed back, and Kenny's going to go barreling through on the back of it. Suddenly, it is just Rain left alive. There's one, but he still needs to frag on a Kenny. Kenny not on the bomb just yet. Taps it, trying to bait the peek in from Rain. He's sticking it. Rain has to catch the timing, and he's going to. FaZe, they find themselves a 3rd round here. It comes down to the wire. It was looking like it should have been a pretty clean round for them, but it's this play here from Smiths and Kenny, I think it was. They do the damage between Guardian and Olaf, and that's what almost turns that round back on its head for G2. Fantastic stuff from Rain once again, who has been the one focal point. They're kind of one gleaming light at the end of the tunnel, I think, maybe for FaZe right now. He's at least looking fantastic.
Yeah, nice lineup there from Smiths in the previous round. It's so common to see that Coffins plant because T's love to play back in the banana. It's very rare that CTs will send more than one player on that banana flank for a retake, so typically you're going to be seeing FaZe with the bomb down in Coffins and taking control back towards the banana area of the map, and that's why Smiths was so ready for the lineup. Nice kills coming out, though, so far. FaZe have actually found an entry into B. They've lost 2 people in the process, though, so it's not looking great so far. Body on top of the boost here at the back of the site, and he's going to be tasked with 2 men coming forward. Nice shot from Olofmeister again, catching Body, looking away from the flashbang. Good utility from FaZe, it seems, in this round, but will they be able to convert it, or will a reset come right back through? Smiths can't land a smoke shot today. It's going to be Carrigan avoiding those and being able to get back towards Banana, where the bomb hopefully is planted for him once again. That is the case. So this has actually turned into a very good round for FaZe, and even though G2 have a double rotate back up Banana, I don't think this one's going to be winnable, and Kenny doesn't think so either. He's already backed off through the spawn, and it's about now taking down FaZe players, keeping their cash low and trying to get some exits for G2.
Ooh, does stay alive at the very least. Yeah, we're buying on 4th round for FaZe, and over on the side of G2, it's a save once again. And I tell you what, one of the big question marks me coming into this series was Kenny. Can he pick things up? Are we going to see a recovery from his games earlier today? It certainly looks like it right now. 15-7. He's coming into Inferno, firing on all cylinders, along with Shox. And that's sort of the recipe we need to see. This is, if you look at this team, those are 2 of the names that you expect to see carrying this GT roster across finish lines. The 2 players that are going to have to step up if these guys want to be winning titles. And, we're finally seeing that now in this game versus FaZe. That said, been a good turnaround in these last few rounds from the FaZe clan. They've started to pick up the pace of it. Now 8-4. This is a much more respectable scoreline here.
Yeah, the chances of them having a strong T-side half are not gone just yet. 8-7 certainly a realistic possibility here for FaZe. If they can get this 5th round on the board, that would be G2 on eco. Only a single eco because they've lost a few rounds in a row now, so loss bonus is looking good for the French. But still, there's definitely the chance to get at least 6 rounds off the back of just this one rifle round. And G2, they don't have everything in it as well already. You look at their utility, it's pretty far down, pretty far gone. No one's in the area left up, but a double spray from Smith again. Seems like an iconic duo so far this map. He's going to find 2 more down through mid. FaZe cut off. And now things are going to start to get very difficult, especially with Kenny winning his duel down on the B bomb site. 2 more players left up, and they're completely split on other parts of the map. It's just about trying to do damage now for FaZe. This round is surely over.
Yeah, this is looking like the swift turnaround here in this one from a G2. It looks like they'll be securing themselves tonight. I don't imagine Guardian are off too keen on going for this. If they save, then Guardian can drop over. Carrigan can buy. So you would have 4 rifles in play with maybe someone like Nico taking a bit of a hit in terms of the firepower, or being in that IGL role now, perhaps. Counter-terrorists win. 5 players dying alive there for G2. That's pretty monstrous here if you're FaZe. You go from streaking to get a good few rounds, starting to get that ball rolling, but you never quite break the G2 economy, right? They were very, very good at saving, and that's normally something I think, with the G2 team, that was always one of the big, worries was that economy management. That's something Chad also touched on the desk, was how they don't seem to prioritize getting Kenny that AWP. Well, right now they're certainly playing on their strengths, and they are getting the AWP in his hand. He's having a fantastic performance as a result. So I do think that's commendable and something that's worth mentioning. It doesn't feel like we've seen G2 go without a buy yet.
Oh dear, flash mid, Shox is blind. He's going to swap in the smoke, but he can't stay alive. Olaf ready for it. And FaZe, they've ramped up the pace to overdrive, already powering over the A site. Kenny going to get overwhelmed, and a Molotov kill post-mortem will be all he can muster. Right now, G2 looking like they're going to be out of this round, and even though FaZe weren't able to break the money previously, this may be their opportunity. The boost tower knocked down by Rain. Right now, looking like acid rain landing on the heads of these G2 players. There's only 2 more CTs left up, and yeah, they've got to go. They've got to save. They should be trying to hold on to every penny they can for this last round of the half. Because right now, their money is not in the best of states. As you said it yourself, Harry, just on the edge of losing it. However, definitely an option for exits because FaZe have some low players. So while Nico and Rain can save in the pit, Guardian and Olaf won't quite have the same satisfaction. Body's found the latter of which, or the former actually, and everyone else holding onto their guns. So yeah, good round for FaZe. At least they keep 3 alive. The AWP is saved, so that'll be dropped over to Kenny. And 9-5. This is so far, like we've been bashing on FaZe a little bit because they did take a slow start into this map. It was what 7-0, 8-1, something like that.
Yeah, 8-1 at one point.
Now FaZe have pulled themselves back into this game, and that's nice to see.
Yeah, I mean, when this was down 8-1, it almost felt like FaZe were just going to have to like roll over and you know, just already admit defeat. But now they're back into it. These guys remember what it means to frag, what it means to taste victory. Now they want more of it. Carrigan up here towards the top of Banana. You have to spot anything out, but they're going to get this very, very early on in the round, and that's something FaZe have been good at. Sharks tries to go aggressive, but he's going to get beaten by Rain. Now that man advantage taken, do you see the effect that that's had? It is going to force the rotation out, but G2, they take the gamble instead. They bring Kenny over here towards B. That's where all 5 players for FaZe reside. So we have a 3-man stack here from G2. This could be absolutely perfect from them, and a disaster for FaZe. Kenny, he's able to open up existence from the back of the bomb site, boosted up, him and Body. Good for 2 between them, but he's going to go down. So we're into the 2-on-2, and it's a lengthy rotation from Smiths that's needed. Kenny is the only man nearby. That bomb's still yet to go down, and Nico keeping an eye on this flank.
Oh, this is a good off angle as well. Smith moves up very early. He's surely going to lose this battle, even with Nico tagged up already. Plant, not committed to just yet. Kenny baited into moving around through the ruins. That's again another fake plant trying to force a CT peek. Smith's going for it, and there we go. Not ready for the angle. Nico's going to win that duel, and Kenny, he dives on in. He can stop the bomb, but he's too late, and Nico ran through the smoke. FaZe are going to win the round, but G2 win the half. 9-6 on the CT side. We now swap over, but I'd say both teams should be happy with that. A 9-6, you know, favoring CT side Inferno, that's pretty casual. That's pretty normal.
Yeah, and I think heading into the second half now, this was looking like it was going to be a very, very quick, decisive G2 victory early on. They got 8-1 over FaZe, and they had plays like this from this man on your screen, Body, you know, just tearing them apart. He was looking good early on. Shocks and Kenny both hitting their shots. That seems like the perfect recipe for success. They got 8-1, Hugo. It's looking good. Everyone's believing, you know, this is it for G2. They're going to start to find their foot in a bit, but no. FaZe straight back into things. They managed to go, you know, what, 5 rounds almost in a row. I think, what, G2 managed to get 1 in amongst all of it, but still, it's a massive turnaround.
Yeah, nice to see that from FaZe. I'm just happy they didn't roll over and die like they did in the previous map on Dust 2 against Astralis. That was just, a bit of a painful one to watch. But now we have FaZe on board again, though, Harry. Now we move over to the same problem that we had on the previous couple of games with FaZe, which was the CT side, right? Strong T side, even on Mirage to some extent. 7 rounds they got, but then when they moved over, swapped sides, they didn't get a single one for the rest of the map. So yeah, CT Inferno, a difficult CT side to play as well at that, right? Knowing when to rotate, when to save, etc. So FaZe are having the same problems as earlier, then this could be a quick affair for G2. But let's find out, because a different map, a new opportunity, and we're heading straight into this one. 6-9 for G2 on this first map.
Yes, indeed. Heading into the second half, Hugo. And for FaZe, pissed around, that could be their way back into this to a tied 9-9 scoreline if everything goes their way. Shark's going to be heading over here towards the apartments, but Nico about to try and meet him head on. Spots the players out and ultimate, gets the information, and now going to back away. It's an interesting odds from the folks over at Betway. Still going to be leading in favor of G2. But definitely doesn't pale, you know, into the 26 to 1.01 odds that we saw earlier versus Astralis. So
those were a bit broken. Well, not even broken, not even wrong, but just ridiculous. However, normality has ensued, at least for the time being. Very slow round for G2. They're just waiting to see if FaZe will bite and walk down this banana to their eventual death. That won't be the case. Now they're going to be the ones peeking. It's Olaf to win that first quick duel, and that's nice to see. Again, he's playing bait on the corner. After he takes a shot and falls off, he doesn't need to commit to this angle. Even if Carrigan dies here as well, there's still that third insurance policy of Rain on the sandbags. There's no way they check this, but oh, Kenny, he's so ready for it. They find all 3 kills down on that B bomb site, and absolutely no problem for G2. How the hell do they do that?
Yeah, that was looking like the perfect setup almost for FaZe, but Kenny has completely destroyed them. There is just one man left, and that man is Guardian. Sadly, he's not guarding much. He's backing away. He's giving this round up. He's going to look to try and find the man in the back. And maybe he will. He doesn't. He's going to go ahead and hold on to the armor, Hugo. It's not the exciting play. It's not the flashy play, but it's the play that makes sense if we're going by the numbers. 10-6 regardless. That there is the score right now. And for G2 winning the pistol round here, this represents a major way for them now to start to pull ahead. We were bringing it up, you know, FaZe's CT sides didn't look too convincing earlier versus Astralis. G2 maybe not necessarily at that same level as Astralis are, but still. You know, you kind of look at the recipes certainly there. We have Kenny fragging like a madman. You can just have him opening up bomb sites. Body and Shox there to go for the trades and, you know, try and keep things even. And then you have your Smiths in existence, you know, not doing as hot, but Smith's kind of occupying maybe more of that support role existence. You know, the IGL, not really what we expect. Then you look over at FaZe Guardian right now. He's kind of going to be the real thing, I think, that could tie this all together. He's bottom of the board, 3-12. We did see someone step up to be a rival Kenny, and he's really the only man for the job.
Banana is no task for G2 to take, but maybe the A site is a bit of a different beast to contend with, or more so Nico. Finding the dig onto Kenny S down middle, that's the bomb dropped, and in fact, in all this madness, Rain's pushed down into the apartments. He won't continue on his search, and if he did, it would come to a pretty gruesome end for him, because there's a man sitting around the corner, that's Shox. Instead, Rain peeks out the window, and that's body dead as well. Nice work, even doubles back. This could be another for Rain, but he only gets the dink. I say only, but still FaZe in a 3-on-3 with the health advantage in this round. It's certainly not a bad situation. It's left G2 wondering exactly where they will commit to. Where do FaZe have their stack? And it will be mostly on that A site. 2 players here. Solo man on B right now. And G2, they're opting to go for that latter site as well, so they're going to be walking into the unstacked to the 2. Problem is, with Inferno's retaking is so hard, but luckily enough, FaZe might not be tasked with that because they're rotating these players preemptively. The smoke is down, and G2 are about to push on in. Karrigan only has to stay alive and keep this time going, keep this delay to disallow from G2 planting the bomb. They don't realize he's here just yet. At the back of the site, and they haven't checked it. Karrigan gonna peek out. There's the bomb drop. 20 seconds left up. Died through the smoke from Nico, and it's only Shox left up. He's low, and in a 1-on-2, he needs to go massive.
He almost certainly does. Shox, we need to see an absolutely electrifying performance. Down goes Nico, and it's just Karrigan left to try and best. 17 HP on Shox, and only 5 seconds, but he's going to do it. Karrigan offers himself up to him, and that's G2 in 11th round. The force buy there from FaZe, not quite enough, and Shox is going to be feeling good about that one. Heading into that, you know, I was feeling quite confident for FaZe. They had themselves, what, the 3v2 at the very end. Karrigan in that position. I mean, I have memories as well of IEM Sydney, I think it was, where he pulls up a 1v3 in almost the exact same circumstances. He's very, very good when he's in those sort of, you know, more clutch positions and knowing how to position himself. But it is going to be Shox bringing it home for G2. And now they should be securing themselves a 12th here. These USPs and the 1 dig on Nico. I'm not entirely believing in this one, Hugo.
No,
I think that's safe to say. I think I can hedge my bets on that one.
Yeah. That's not a ballsy call by any means. Guardian and Rain even got tagged from the wallbang from that bridge position from G2. So already off to a dire start. These kills getting finished off. Shox finds Rain. Smiths kills Karrigan down on that B site, and it's a bit of a death match right now. Nico obviously included in this. Got to be able to find body again. That's 2 rounds in a row where he's getting kills with this Deagle. Will it be enough to win the round? I'm going to go with a no, because he's all that stands as G2 chase their way down into that B bomb site. The smoke is still cutting off Nico as well. Nothing he can do about that.
Nico's not going to get away with anything. There's Shox to find him, and that's going to be the 12th round. He got all locked in. Everything goes ahead how it should. Now we see the buy, though, from FaZe, and Guardian going to be bringing that AWP out. I think this is going to be the critical moment. We see, you know, can Guardian start to have his second win? Can we start to see some breath of fresh air in him and a chance to start to go toe-to-toe with Kenny? He's over on the CT side. It's a lot more forgiving, a lot more tailored to the AWP in comparison to Kenny, who's going to be, you know, rolling with the MP5 right now, actually. This is maybe worrying. Guardian doesn't have any armor to hide behind. There's no head armor up on Karrigan, Olaf, or Nico. So these SMGs going to be a real threat because, you know, it's only one shot to the head at this point in time.
I mean, if G2 win this round, I think this game is likely going to be over as well. FaZe broken at 13-6. Money-wise, I'm talking. I'm not alluding to anything there. Guardian in middle, 4 kills on this entire map for him. Rain is the only one with above 10 right now. It's going to be him mollied out of the pit, having to move over to mini pit. That will be heard, or at least the flames, so they should be aware of him in this position. They'll drop on through, but he blindly takes down Body. That's a nice start. Nico even joins the fray as well, and it's actually 2 for him. While he's tagged on the site, G2 have taken control towards the pit with 2 men, and Nico's repositioned up on short. Now, this is a great position. He may be able to cut this one down. He just doesn't realize both players are in the pit just yet, but I think he's starting to work it out. Kenny S trying to find the angle, but Nico not giving him a pixel to play with. 30 seconds left up. The play is left to be made by G2. They have to try and get a kill back here because FaZe Clan are not going to be offering themselves up.
No, almost certainly not. And you've got Olaf Meister pushed into the apartments. He's your fail-safe. Shock's creeping forward, going to get spotted out. He's dealt with as well. It's just Kenny. And as good as he's been, a 1v4, they wish that S in his name made him plural so that it counted for a little bit more right now, and he was Kenny's, but instead he's down in the pit. The bomb's out in the open. There's only 10 seconds. At this point, he really kind of has to die. Doesn't want to go down after the time and leave the economy bottomed out, so he will fall. And that's FaZe finally finding themselves around here in the second half, 7-12. And this would be their 5th CT side round today. All day. We've already seen them play 2 games, so...
That's never reassuring, Harry, I will say. But it's given them a lifeline. It's given them an opportunity to keep themselves in this map. Again, if they lost that round, their money would have been crunched, and G2 probably would have just closed it out off the back of these anti-ecos. Nice nade, but Allpeak not landing a shot there for Guardian, surprisingly enough. However, the double set up with the rifles will be good. That being said, there are trades, 2 of them back in Banana. Carrigan and Guardian going down, and now we're back into a 3-on-3. So G2, they may have had a bit of a shocking start to the round, but they've responded well.
And it's still so early on in the round. G2 definitely the ones in the driver's seat right now. They've got 1 minute and 15 seconds left. Plenty of utility as well. You take a look over at FaZe. You have those 2 smokes, which is great to buy you a little bit more time, but you're going to have to be very, very sparing with them. You don't have incendiaries as well. Smokes aren't walls, sadly, so you're not going to go ahead and stop a rush if at the end of the day G2 want to go pushing on through. 2 smokes and a Molotov. That's almost the perfect bare minimum to go ahead and take this B bomb site, but they throw those in now. They're going to have to commit to it because that's all the utility they have, and Olaf is here. He's going to go peeking round, and he's dropped Kenny. It's just Smith's left alive. He's going to go charging in. You can see FaZe starting to just swarm on over to this B bomb site like a flock of seagulls, and Smith, he's tried to run so far away. He gets that bomb down. It's a 1v3 from him needed, though. First, going to try and take this fight. Olaf throws out the pistol, try to fake flash it.
That never works, can I just say?
I mean, there's been a few times it does. And, you know, it's a good last-ditch attempt, right? Like, what else is he going to do there? You do it...
Jiggle peek.
I mean... Yeah, I mean, I guess you could... I don't think there's a world in which Olaf misses that.
Right, the reason that doesn't work in like, that scenario, for example, in the vast majority of cases, is because if you throw a nade, it makes a click. It makes the noise of you throwing a grenade.
Think
so
online as well, you notice it less because it's like you have less noise, right? In an arena, I think by all means, like, you know, fake flashes, I think they have a higher chance of working there because you've got the crowd. You maybe miss those little details.
It's very contextual. Like, that is never going to... Kenny's not going to look away when he sees a pistol fire in the corner.
1v3, I don't think there's any right way you could say that you should have played that scenario. You try and do something that's a bit out there. I know, maybe get us on Twitter with your opinions on this. You know, was that the right call?
Hashtag ESL Pro League. Are fake flashes with pistols viable?
I say yes. Hugo says no. Hop on, join in the debate.
I'm just saying, like, that in that scenario.
Hugo hates fake flash.
Yeah, there we go. We're going to start
2018. There's the narrative.
It's fine. Not many people make use of them anyway.
That is true.
And the ones that actually have had success are banned from competitive play, so that goes well. Oof. Well, fast play, waterfall out of the balcony. Things are getting wet. Rain's going to go aggressive. They're all blind. Oh, no, Rain! 2 kills. Traded back from Kenny, but he's going to grab a gun to at least play with or throw over to his teammate. Kenny's down 11 HP. He doesn't want to commit with that weapon. It's Smith's time to shine. And Kenny, he's going to be playing a bit of a bait role. Run in first, allow Smith to trade you. And that will be the first death, but Smith will not be able to get the trade. There are still 2 players there, so even if he did, that round is still FaZe's. 9-12 now, Harry. Things are starting to look up here for the European mix. They're making this game a reality, potentially.
Yeah, I mean, this is sort of what we were saying. You know, we started to see the turnaround from players such as Guardian, and then you have, you know, Olaf stepping up alongside guys like Raid who have been hitting their shots anyway. Nico's still doing well. Karrigan's still a little bit quiet, but the rest of the guys are kind of all there right now. And then, you know, you take a look over at G2, and a lot of the success coming off the back of Kenny, and it's since moving into this T side that they've started to fall off. You know, he hasn't really had the AWP. Even then, it's so much less viable on this T side, at least to do, you know, in the same capacity that you can on the CT side. Kenny, on the CT side, he was great to kind of hold down these sites, anchor bomb sites, you know, find openers. But here on the T side, they've been really hamstrung to try and slot him in ways that he can meaningfully open up these rounds. Instead, we've been looking towards the rest of the team, and it feels like they've been falling a little bit short in that respect. Still, I mean, that's taken into account, Hugo. This was 8-1 in favor of G2 at one point in time. Now we sit 9-12. It's been an absolutely monumental effort from FaZe to get to the point that we see them at now. It's rifles across the board for G2. That AWP is a no-show once again for Kenny. And for FaZe, they've decided to position Guardian over here towards long. So not having that railgun, that anchor down towards Banana. Instead, gonna try and keep him over towards mid.
Nice molly there to cut off any AWP on Porch, but there's no one there. Rain's sitting further back, and Nico will be joining him after that pick. An advantage, and I think Rain just spotted the head of a player there as well. He's going to flash, peek, but the smoke is down from Nico, so no connection. G2 instead looking back at long, and that's going to be a more viable option because there are 3 players towards the pit side of the A site for FaZe. 1 man on long. The double peek from G2 does work out, but Karrigan gets 1 kill before the trade, so FaZe still hold on to the man advantage. The only problem here is the fact that Olaf is alone. If he doesn't get 1 or 2 kills, this is going to be a very difficult retake for FaZe because they're too far away. They're only just leaving the A site, and Olaf can't even get a single kill, so now G2 have taken B in a 3-on-3. We've already talked about how difficult retaking is.
Yeah, most definitely, especially, you know, Smith's going to be lying in wait. Kenny trying to bait and switch, but no, Smith maybe going a little too soon. Kenny down behind the sandbags. They're not checking it, and oh no, he lets them walk out. Kenny, there's the quick double from him. Guardian left in the 1v2 AWP in hand. Anything but ideal, but he's going to try and get the job done. Throws down flash. He's actually been able to get by existence somehow. But he starts to back away, doesn't anticipate existence over in ruins as a result of that safe passage that was granted to him the first time around. And there's G2 answering back with their 13th.
Yeah, after a bit of a streak from FaZe, so that was 3 rounds in a row before G2 eventually won another T-side round. So it's not like they've broken the money just yet. But Harry, as we can see, FaZe have to spend every single penny they have to get a decent buy into this round. They're not going to have anything to fall back on. And again, we're back to a point that we were at 3 rounds ago, where it's like if G2 win this round, FaZe on Eco, G2 on 14, and then things really go or get complicated for FaZe. So pressure really is on to take this round for the CT side. G2, on the other hand, they have that buffer. They have that 4-round lead still in effect. And they have top banana as well. FaZe have gifted that over this time. Lack of utility means they don't want to waste that on trying to contest deep into that B bomb site. Play passive, Karrigan smoking it and falling back. G2 keeping FaZe honest on the A side of the map, and actually that 1 smoke up short has kept Nico in position. He looked like he wanted to rotate through freeway, and then they smoked right side short, and the reason that Nico has to stay is now because G2 can wrap long in theory without FaZe having information, so Nico can't afford to leave that A bomb site, which now means that G2 can just burst into this B site, and here they go. Already a great flashbang. Olaf blinded, he cannot hold the line, and Body's going to finish off his teammate as well. That's a really nice execute from G2, and even to make things worse, Smiths gets aggressive and drops Nico on the rotation.
Yeah, body, can't you see? Sometimes these plays just hypnotize me, Hugo. It's fantastic stuff from him. That's going to be the 14th round for G2. Guardian, going to look to try and hold on to the AWP. He's over here in the library. They say knowledge is power. This man, he's going to need all the knowledge in the world right now if he wants to stay alive. G2 hunting him down, and okay, he's going to get rid of Smith. Does want to go back for a bit more. And how does he manage that? He's gone by. He's behind the pillar. He's still alive, he's still fighting, he's still looking to hold on, but surely it comes to an end now. There we go. 14-9. It was 8-1 at one point in time in favor of G2. FaZe, they want a monstrous run to start to pull things back. But now G2 looking to try and crush them back into the ground once again. No money here for FaZe. The economy going to cause them a real issue at such a critical juncture in the game as well. You fight so hard to pull it back to a redeemable scoreline, and now in what is the match point round, essentially, you've got no money. You're just going to be handing that over to G2, allowing them to go 15-9.
Ooh, a harsh reality for FaZe, but they may have a bit of a surprise, a bit of a trick up their sleeve. G2 about to walk into a full 5-man stack here, but FaZe are getting completely torn apart. Not a trick up their sleeve, they in fact were wearing t-shirts. It's G2 able to crush that with only a single death. 15 rounds to 9 now for the French. And 1 round away from a victory on the first map of this. And FaZe, what do they even have to show? They just have M4s. Oh my god, did ESL CS actually post our fake flashes for Pistol Viable? Oh, no, they did a poll. No, it's all about context.
Yeah, well, you know, I didn't hear you say that a minute ago, buddy. I heard you say I hate fake flashes.
No, you're misquoting me, Harry.
I'm putting words in your mouth. I tell you what, Nico, he's putting bullets in the mouth of Shock's always going to go to take some back, and that swiftly returned to sender by body. 15-9, and this there could be the last round for FaZe unless Carrigan digs deep and does a big hero play like that. Double kill over towards the top of Banana. He's going to now back away, leave the mantle on the back of Olof, trying to go to pick up where Carrigan left off. And there is still Kenny here. Olof, that smoke going to start to fade. He now creeps on through, flashes there. It's picture perfect, but body swings on in to help out. FaZe don't need to keep facing into this. They've now started to let this man advantage get grinded down. Carrigan now stands inside of the B bomb site all alone. You've got to wonder why Olof went for that peek, because now 1 man on 7 HP is all that stands between G2 and this B bomb site.
Well, not for long though. Harry Guardian's wrapped back round as well. Problem is no utility here for FaZe on this B bomb site to actually hold off against G2, but a second man, now that'll make things a little bit more interesting. Guardian doesn't need to pick this angle though. He can just wait for Carrigan to take the attention away. He is low after all, so Guardian can just go for the late trade from Coffin. G2 might not expect 2 players being here, with the fact that FaZe are in a 3v2 situation. More common to stack the A side than not, and Kenny has rid Carrigan at the back of the boxes. Guardian's now all that stands here on B, but that smoke on Coffin has eluded G2's side. They don't know he's here. He gives away his position, but he doesn't get a kill for it. That's going to make it even more complicated, and it's down to the 1v1. Kenny, yes, all that stands, but he's going to get it done. G2 win that map. They will take it away from FaZe Clan at the end of the day.
There at the end, it's another unnecessary peek. The bomb was down at the base of Banana. I don't even know if there was time to get it, but Guardian goes ahead and peeks into it at the very end, and that's just going to hand the win over to G2. For them, it's a nice recovery after getting thrashed by Mouse Sports earlier on today. For FaZe, they're back down in the gutter. Now the question becomes, Hugo, we still have a second map in this series. Can they pull it back? We'll find out after the break.
Incendiary out.
Did I seriously get that dude in smoke?
Yo! Oh my.
Game, record, and stream without compromise. An Intel Core i7.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Intel, Vodafone, The Road to Odense, Betway, MSI, Logitech G, Pay Safeguard, Mountain Dew League, and ESEA.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Intel Esports Arena. My name is Chad Spud Burchill, and of course, beside me is Trey Stunnis-Saranthus. And I guess with that said, I should also bring to you some intelligence. And by intelligence, I mean Intel, the fastest processors on the market. You don't want to miss one. Game, record, and stream without compromise. And isn't that right, Trace?
Yes, indeed, Chad. That is definitely the case here on the Pro League broadcast. But if we get stuck into this matchup we just saw of Inferno, the 16-9 victory for all the viewers at home between the likes of G2 and FaZe Clan, it's finally happened.
Yes,
It has finally happened. We've been waiting for this moment. It's finally come to fruition. Even though it's an online matchup, it's still a Tier 1 opponent of FaZe Clan. Shox and Kenny, both towards the top of the scoreboard, both putting in work. That is the perfect formula for this team, right? We see it if you look at a team like Hellraisers. They have 3 players, not necessarily support players, but role players and 2 clear stars. G2 is very similar to that. Kenny and Shox, head and shoulders above the rest of the team. Body is more of a supportive player. Existence, the in-game leader, and Smiths is definitely secondary AWP and supportive. So basically, the whole idea in my mind for this team was to get the best out of those 2, and finally we did. And that's why you have such a stark scoreline against a FaZe Clan who I think this is the last thing they need, really, Trace.
Yeah, this is a very deflated FaZe Clan in a way in which I personally hate to see it like this for FaZe Clan. I like these guys as individuals. I like the idea and the premise of this team. And moreover, this lineup on paper should be making just a little bit more sense than it does now. But for what it's worth, this is not the road to Odense for them.
No, and this is just, I guess, a speed bump because I think that they just need a bit of time to maybe decompress. They'll get that next week when there is no Pro League on, when we actually will have Star Ladder instead, an event that they're not going to. So I think that's all they need. They just need to hope that they can split this series now 1-1 because you don't want to go down with 2 big losses in an evening. We've already seen them lose 0-2 to Astralis earlier in the night where they got just absolutely hammered by a team who was playing a little bit more disrespectful. I don't mean that they're actually disrespecting. I mean that they're just playing a little bit more aggressive. Right. So if they cop a 0-2 to G2 as well, that's worrying signs because we know that it's tumultuous times in that FaZe camp, that they're still working out mentally where that they need to land. And I think, you know, as long as they take these results with a grain of salt while still giving 100% to try and get the victory, that's where they need to be. We don't want to see them, you know, have a mental collapse because of some online matches.
Now, Chad, I would go over the numbers over in the FaZe Clan, but the reality is the Architect was the one that showed up for them. Now, let's fast forward here to the G2 show, more in which Kenny S coming out, putting the big green on him, and in fact, netting himself 30 frags, 13 deaths, over 180 AR. The guy had a rating of 1.82, and, well, we can't dismiss Shox either. 22 frags, 13 deaths, just under 90 ADR for him, and a 1.38 rating. So plenty of firepower put down range. That was a disgusting shot, by the way, for Nico.
Was a spicy meatball right there, wasn't it?
Spicy meatball, indeed. You know, I'm a big fan of the meatballs, but the reality is this is a rough time for FaZe Clan, and even more rough time for FaZe Clan fans.
Well, I don't think anybody should worry just yet, and that doesn't mean that we didn't just see a bad game from them. Of course we did, but we saw a good game from G2 on the other hand. So let's not start, you know, calling for heads and you know, making HTV.org threads saying mean things. We don't need to do that right now. What we need to do is just highlight what G2 are doing well, and that is exactly like you mentioned, Kenny and Shox showing up. That is the main or the key storyline for this G2 roster because we know that the strategic side of things can be there with Existence.
Now, we're going to throw up the power rankings real quick. We could see exactly where this nets everyone and falls everyone coming into this season. Of course, FaZe Clan sitting at a number 3, which is about appropriate. But the reality is this. We've had the opportunity at these events, namely ESL 1 New York, where at least I know I spoke with Rain 101, the Architect, and he just straight up said, hey, you know what? We're not going to make any changes. Talk to Nico. We're not going to make any changes. We're going to make this work. We're going to try to make this work. Whereas, you know, if you're an average HLTV.org forum user, you're probably over there on the thread right now. That's the FaZe Laugh thread. Shame on you. You shouldn't be do that. Where you should head to is shop.eslgaming.com and purchase some jerseys. Isn't that right,
jerseys, probably.
Yeah, something like that. Oh, by the way, hey
buy
guys.
low, sell high, you know, get them while they're at their worst, and then, you know.
The price of the jersey isn't going to change if the team's losing.
Yeah, that's not, it doesn't necessarily work like that, but perhaps.
It's not a stock market.
Yeah, it's not quite like that.
No.
Have we seen any instances of jerseys or signed memorabilia being sold for high value?
All I know is that, you know, the Sponge Renegade sticker in the game is worth quite a bit of money, so, you know.
Yeah, unfortunately, no one can recall that one game that you will not stop talking about. We're in the green room. This guy won't stop letting me know how the greatest game to ever happen to Counter-Strike. Either way, we're going to talk about a new game, and that's Overpass. This is one more shot at redemption, validation, and moreover, another shot for FaZe to get back into the fight here. Perhaps if they were playing on MSI laptops, it wouldn't be this big of a problem.
I think the problem is that Kenny's actually hitting shots, and when you're a T-side AWPer like Kenny, I would say, you know, you talk about him as his impact. When he is on, he's a top 3 T-side AWPer in the world. It's hard to do that. You know, you think of names like, I think Device is probably the most clinical in his approach of finding picks. But if you talk about guys who are able to get the nitty and gritty done with AWP in the mid-rounds, you have to think of Kenny S, you have to think of Fallen, and I think the other name that comes to mind is on the other side, Guardian. Those 3, for me, in those mid-round, real dirty positions thrive. Now, coming into this one, the problem for FaZe is that Kenny is on, Guardian isn't. It's not a head-to-head one-for-one clash, but I think, you know, we're seeing more out of the individuals. Well, on a map like this, on a map like Overpass, when you think about the wall that gets set up here, you've got Rain and Guardian over towards that A-bomb site, locking it down. You've got Nico and Olaf over towards B, and Carrigan on the CT side playing that swing. It's a difficult bomb sites to break into.
Yeah, difficult enough. More difficult for you guys. I know we brought you in here. We haven't really said any words to you, but I want to ask you, just from maybe your perspective, one of you can answer this. What went wrong here for FaZe Clan?
I mean, like, it was more like there was a lot going right for G2 for the most part. Like, we had, you know, like Kenny having an absolutely fantastic game, and then that feels like such unfortunate timing here for FaZe, right? You look at how he played versus Mouse Sports, and it seemed pretty terrible. I really didn't know if he'd be able to like pick it back up heading into this one, but he looked fantastic. And then early on, you had Guardian falling silent for such like a massive portion of that, right? So you had no one to kind of answer back and quell the beast that was Kenny in that map. Now heading into Overpass, at least, I feel like this is going to be where if they can't do it here, you know, where can they do it versus G2? This isn't a particularly strong map for them. And so yeah, I'm thinking FaZe should be able to get this one.
They should be able to get this one, but moreover, you would think Astralis have it in the bag after watching them convincingly smash on FaZe here. But here's the reality over in the B stream. The Space Soldiers are currently topping Astralis on Inferno 12-4, and CT side for Space Soldiers currently.
That's a pretty nice place to be.
Paz is on 24 kills and 8 deaths.
That's over 128 yards. So they're putting on a clinic. If you're an Astralis fan right now, maybe check out the B stream, but moreover, don't leave us. Maybe just open another tab instead.
Well, yeah, definitely don't leave. Don't leave. You don't get our faces over there. Our faces are only found here.
Yeah, man.
Look, Harry made some really good points about Overpass. I think it's definitely something to be noted, but the worrying signs, I think, tonight are if Space Soldiers are in such good form against Astralis, where are Mouse Sports looking? Like, obviously, they've won some of their early matches. We're going to see that one. That's going to be our last game of the day, our last series of the day. I'm just curious to see how that one goes down, because Paz right now is playing better online than what I think we've seen from him on a lot of his recent results. It's normally Zentaras and Calyx towards the top. I actually think Madja has a lot of impact as well. Paz did have, you think of the E-League major at the start of the year. I think that he actually had impact there, but I haven't really seen it in more of their matches to that extent against a class opponent like Astralis. So, lots of games tonight, lots of Counter-Strike. Every night of the week here at ESL Pro League.
That's absolutely correct, Chad. In fact, you know, as we go into Friday, this is the second to last night of the week. And, you know, for what it's worth, any teams that kind of stuck out to you guys throughout the course of the week?
I've enjoyed watching North. Yeah, I think North have been refreshing to see. It's been nice to see Cadian back on a top-tier European team, if you want to regard North as top tier, whatever. Yeah, that's been exciting to watch. I think the stars of North have been showing up as well, as we kind of usually expect. And obviously top of the board, but they have played the most games so far. So we'll see how that progresses.
I want to throw production under a bus here.
I love it.
Let's see how this goes. I'm going to apologize to them first. Can we see the North American matches coming up this evening? Do you reckon that's possible?
Maybe if you give it a second, they can rally that one up.
Okay,
but in fact, maybe you make your point and we'll throw it up.
The reason that I want to bring up those is because Renegades have just recently added Liaz and old mate Gratisfaction. They've played 6 games now within the Pro League and they're undefeated. So they've had a couple of overtime issues going on there, but that's fine. A win's a win. But whereas the bigger names, MIBR lost 2-0 to Ghost. Obviously, we've got the likes of Liquid and Luminosity on to. So tonight's North American games look hot.
I'd love to know what you think of Gratisfaction and Liaz, like the additions, or Liaz, sorry, the additions to Renegades.
So I don't get to be around Australia too much and play with these guys, but when I went home just before Christmas, I went to a LAN center just to play some games. I got to, you know, I get to hang out with these guys and talk to them at events. They've definitely got the Counter-Strike minds. They're definitely talents, but they have a quick learning curve, right? Getting thrown into the North American pool is probably an easier place to be than the European one. But for those two guys, at least they're hungry. And I think that's kind of what the Renegades guys need. I was speaking, to them, and I was saying, look, you can't just make one change. If you just make one change, you're just left in the same spot. You bring in 2 new, fresh faces. You have like a clear leadership, which is hard for them because I think Azza is doing the in-game leading right now. And then hopefully you can take some steps in the right direction. They're currently beating down on opponents they should be beating. Let's be honest, the teams that they've been facing aren't world beaters by any means. And no disrespect to those squads. Obviously, Complexity had a good run at the major. Yeah. But positive signs, they go to Star Ladder tomorrow, so we'll get to see what Renegades with the LAN environment bring.
Especially when last Star Ladder was like a start of their decline, I think, especially like they really dropped off that event. I remember they completely bottomed out, so it'd be nice to see them actually come back.
Even rewinding even further back when they did just win a Star Ladder, I think it was in Shanghai though. Beating the likes of Virtus Pro, on which their decline was even more rampant, so to say, at the time.
Hold up, can we get Harry? Can you do the line?
What the?
You still owe us a lobster,
Tom. Always a lobster. I don't know if that's just something that you just like could do on the spot, but
it kind of fell out of his mouth.
You got to, you got to save the gold, Chad. I can't. That's why I don't say much here. You can't let it all out now. You got to save it for the cast.
Yeah, normally that's the case. Chase, do we know what's going on? Do we know why we're waiting?
Yeah, we're waiting on just a few more players to connect into the server per usual. Of course, FaZe Clan, for what it's worth, has now gone on to their 4th map of the day. We're gonna let them get a few lickies and chewies and some water out there. And perhaps,
I'm worried about the Goonies, but
yeah, you guys are doing okay down there. How are you holding up in terms of all these games at one time?
Yeah, it's pretty good, right? I mean, the real test is I don't even know where I'm going with this. Yeah, it's been great fun. I'll be honest with you, we got to have some meatloaf as well just a minute ago. You guys had any of that? It was good.
I don't eat meatloaf.
The meatloaf was pretty delicious, I will say that pretty easily. Or more delicious than that would be the Swedish invasion of Cloud9. That's a topic we could talk about
this one
very, very briefly. Let's talk a little bit about Flusha finding himself on Cloud9. It's next to the boy Golden. Of course, you do have a little bit of a, just an automatic left over there. You have Skadoodle. You have just real intricate parts to what it used to be. But I guess for me, it's very interesting to watch this from the outside perspective.
It's terrible. Like, I don't think they will be terrible, but I think it's just like the wrong direction for what was the flagship of North American Counter-Strike. I think Golden did a very good job when he was the in-game leader of Fnatic. I think he did fantastic. I don't think they ever should have gotten rid of him. And Flusha, maybe this is the spark he needs to get reinvigorated, just like we need a spark, Trace.
I'll give you a spark. Here's the spark I'm going to give to you right about now. We've got a little something prepared for you in light of this Flusha move. Let's take a look.
Robin Flusha Rundqvist has always been a player associated with the European region, and in a majority of his career, more specifically with Sweden. But not long ago, he traveled to the other side of the world to play for Cloud9. This happened after his former team of 5 years, Fnatic, had a disappointing run at the FaZe major.
Battle in those quarterfinals, and for Fnatic, the first time this organization will not be in the playoffs of a Counter-Strike major. That is the end of a legacy.
He's going from one troubled team to another, though, as Cloud9 has struggled to hit their level ever since winning the E-League major in Boston back in January. They've even had to part with some of their star players, Tarek and Stewie2K, along the way. And with a last place finish at their first LAN performance together at Blast Pro, it still may not be looking too good for Cloud9. But if anyone can turn this around, it should be the Swedish talent that is Flusha.
Definitely spots him. Oh, not only does he spot him, thank you very much! Oh, wow, no way. He's hoping that Flusha can anchor this position down, but he has the option to go back to A, and look at Flusha. Oh my god. This would be a harsh reset on 14 rounds for Fnatic, and that smoke is tantalizing! Oh! Flusha! He's gonna clean out Connector! As sneaky as Flusha was! No, oh my god!
That is one of the most impressive clutches you will ever see.
Boy, oh boy, is it good to hear a Henry Greer sometimes. Man, that guy, he's a real firecracker. What do you have to say about Henry Greer?
He's one of my favorite humans. There's about 5 of them, 5 humans in this world that are up there as my favorite humans. He's one of them.
Okay, you guys as, fellow UK people, you got anything you want to say on Henry's behalf? You're representing Henry right now, by the way. Both of you. It takes both of you to make the man that Henry is.
This is Henry's son. So, by all accounts, he should have the most. I mean, he loves the Toblerone here.
Jesus Christ. Okay, well, that's enough of checking in with Harry and Hugo. In fact, we're going into the game, I think so. Nope. Excuse me. We're going to be going to a break shortly, but I guess we should try to bring this one back full circle. We're going to Overpass.
Overpass, the CT side, should be a stronger map for FaZe. G2, on the other hand, this isn't a map that they've ever really showed too much prowess on. Now that Existence is the in-game leader, they could probably do some cool stuff on the T side. The positive and the glaring positive is the fact that Kenny S and Shox are both on. They can take over T side, CT sides, do whatever, because they're 2 of the best players in the world.
That's one breath.
Real fast. So, let's get it on.
Yep, and on that note, we're going to do a quick break because these players do need to ready up, maybe get some water too. You got to stay hydrated if you're there in the FaZe clan, because it's a marathon for you tonight. And what will be the last map where we see them here? It's going to be Overpass, and it's coming to you after this break.